Hello and welcome to a cold, bright, snow-capped Poland for the 40th edition of the prestigious IAAF World Cross Country Championships. For the first time in the history of the event, we return to a previous venue for what will be one of the most challenging courses over recent decades. 3 years ago when the championship came here to Bydgoszcz, the course and conditions were very different, but this year it's got everything. Snow, ice, boggy patches, sharp corners, a steep slippery hill and an equally difficult descent. And the first of our 4 races in the IAAF World Cross Country Championships Bydgoszcz 2013 is underway. You can see how fresh the conditions are. One of the athletes near the front running in red tights. Many have got long sleeve tops on under their vests. A stark contrast to Punta Umbria 2 years ago, which was very warm indeed. And just look at the athletes slipping out to the right-hand side of that corner. This is not going to be an easy course on which to plot your route. But on paper, Faith Kipyegon, the favourite for this one. An absolutely incredible junior career so far. But is this going to be a different proposition? Only one Ethiopian has gone with the whole group of Kenyans there at the front. And just back in around about 10th place in these very early stages is Emilia Goretzka in the white. But at the moment, we have some, 5 or 6 Kenyans with one Ethiopian. And then Goretzka leading the European charge off the back at the moment. And the Ethiopian up with those Kenyan leaders is Ruti Aga, the World Junior silver medalist over 5,000 metres. And she had an excellent cross-country win in Brussels, so she's had a good winter to go alongside the excellent silver she picked up on the track in Barcelona. Tirop on the right-hand side. She's a 72-minute half marathon performer. There's the first of those little obstacles that they have to negotiate. It's Kenya leading at the moment. The Ethiopians in second place. And it looks, just taking a look back down the field, as though Great Britain are in bronze medal position in the team competition at the moment. Japan in 4th. Well, that would be a brilliant performance by the British team. The last European team medal was back in 1992. That was a silver with the Romanians, so it really would be a fantastic achievement for the European nation to get on the podium. A sizable advantage over Japan, who, as I said at the beginning of the race, have a brilliant record when it comes to the team medals. 18, I think, 3 silvers and 15 bronze. So that's the team competition, but we're watching the lead 3 athletes. Never more than a metre between them, and they're not too far away from approaching the big slippery hill. And is it on the incline where the champion will make her move? Kipyegon, the smaller of the 2 Kenyans, but Alemitu Heroe is still there. These then, barring a fall, should be our medalists, but which order? The Ethiopian flags are waving and encouraging Heroe on. The wind's definitely picking up on this course. A few snowflakes hang in the air as well, so the temperature looks set to go down. So Tirop, Kipyegon and Heroe, these are our 3 leaders. As we reach the closing stages here of the first of our 4 World Cross Country Championship races here in Bydgoszcz in Poland.
reprezentantka Etiopii. Będziemy, myślę, świadkami pasjonującego finiszu tutaj właśnie przed Państwem.
Tirop just picking up, getting onto the shoulder of the defending champion and still hanging on like a green shadow in the background. The Ethiopian has not been dropped yet. Tirop is trying to drive up that steep incline. Kipyegon back in front now. Almost at the top of the hill. It looks as though the Ethiopian may well have to settle for bronze. She's been dropped on the hill. Kipyegon has managed to get the advantage. The defending champion is absolutely flying down that hill over the obstacle. Shortly she'll turn left, and it looks as though she is going to become only the third woman to successfully defend this junior women's title. Tirop hasn't given up. It's a long run into this finish, but it is Faith Kipyegon leading at the moment. A performance of real quality. Tirop's really fighting here to come back. Can she close down on Kipyegon? Looking over her shoulder. Tirop is closing, but it's Faith Kipyegon who successfully defends her title from 2 years ago. Heroi, the Ethiopian, settles for third. That was a brilliant, brilliant win by Kipyegon. She was definitely getting tired in the last 15 or 20 metres, but she did enough on the steep downhill section to ensure it's another gold. And she is a young woman from whom we will be hearing a great deal more in the future. What a talent, and what a way to kickstart our 4 races here in Bydgoszcz. Ronald Kwemoy won the trials for Kenya. The Ethiopians have 2 very useful athletes in the presence of Mukhtar Idris and Hagos Gebriwit. Gebriwit set a world junior record indoors over 3,000 metres this year, together with a world record last year over 5,000. Almost a false start there by one of the Eritreans. So keen to get away on time, and look how quickly they're up and trying to give themselves the best possible line as they head out onto this tight twisting course. 4 laps, 8K then for these junior men as they drift wide and right, trying to make sure they don't slip in the early stages. So once again, as we saw with the junior women's race, it's the Kenyans setting the early pace. You just get a glimpse there. Sometimes it's marshy, then they're onto the wood chippings, then it's ice, then it's snow. Every surface imaginable will be encountered by these highly promising, talented young athletes over the next 4 laps. Go Kenya, go, go, go. One of the spectators shouts. So many great Kenyan distance running legends have made their name on cross country. Paul Tergat with 5 consecutive long course senior titles. John Ngugi with 5 wins as well. Can Bar Soton add his name to a rich list of Kenyan world cross-country champions? He's doing his best to ensure that Idris falls off the back. He hasn't been completely detached, the second of the 2 Ethiopians. But there is a sizable gap now back to third. So he's whittling down the opponents and giving himself an ever greater chance of taking the gold medal. But Gebri Hewitt is not to be broken here. He's tracked the Kenyan all the way through the race. He's had a couple of goes off the front himself. Each time thus far, the Kenyan has retaken the initiative. But we could be gearing up here for a great finish. Confirmation, very, very close between Kenya and Ethiopia for the team title. The Moroccans are in third place at the moment, and the United States have moved up into fourth place. Great Britain back down to sixth as the Italians move up to seventh. Oh, a little shove there between the two East Africans as they went round that corner. Well, it's good to see it getting a little bit spicy out there. There's a world title at stake here. And as they went round that corner, there was a little bit of a clash. Both very keen to hold their ground. Nothing to choose between these two great young athletes as they close in on the finish. Gebri Hewitt on paper has the better CV with those two World Junior records. Fourth in the African Cross-Country Championships last year as well. Idris now looks, I think, to have settled for third place. Bydgoszcz hasn't got the CV or the times or the achievements so far of Gebri Hewitt, but he's dictated this race and he's dominated it right from the start. Tume's trying to close down on Idris for the bronze, but it looks as though the Ethiopian has a big enough advantage at the moment. But we come now to the big hill for the last time. Don't worry about the athlete wearing 35. That's De Silva, one of the Brazilians. He's been lapped. Now Gebri Hewitt making his push. He's taking the right-hand line up this steep hill. Has he got the big enough advantage? Bydgoszcz is trying to hang on. Idris grinding his way up the hill. There's the break from Gebri Hewitt. And look how much distance he's taken out of the Kenyan in the space of, 50 metres on the sharp downhill section of this course. It was a Kenyan who took the junior women's title. Will it be an Ethiopian to take the junior men's? Bydgoszcz is really trying to dig deep here and close the gap. But Gebri Hewitt can sense the gold. He's in the lead and he's driving on. Idris in third, trying to close down on the Kenyan. He's done well to recover after looking as though he was going through a bit of a bad patch. Gebri Hewitt looks over his shoulder. He's already started the celebrations. He's punching the air and he is becoming the next gold medalist, world junior champion. A superb break down the hill. No disgrace from Bydgoszcz, and a brilliant silver, the best accolade of his career so far. And Mukhtar Idris, the world junior champion over 5,000 metres, adds a bronze over the country to his growing CV. Three great medalists and a brilliant fourth place for Tume. 21st 2 years ago. He's improved significantly from then. A brilliant race, but it's the honours this time to the Ethiopians. And for the second time, Faith Kipyegon is the world junior champion, becoming only the third woman in history to successfully defend the title. What future glories await this young woman? Counting down then to the start of the Senior Women's World Cross Country Championship race here in Bydgoszcz in Poland, 2013, and they're underway. With the snow drifting across this most difficult course, Ethiopian and Kenyan straight out the front. One of the Eritreans up there in the top 10 as well. It's getting very, very cold here in Poland now. And although they're warmed up, they will definitely start to feel that towards the end of the race.
1550 meters.
So, Ethiopian leading with 4 Kenyans. Picking up the next places, enthusiastic British supporter running over towards that corner with a flag. And how will this one play out? Course is getting a little muddier. You'd expect that because we've already seen 2 races in the form of the junior men and junior women. Great run by Neely Spence. At the back of that group, the American, 19th in the World Junior Cross Country back in 2009. So, Aliu out in front, and she has made a decisive, distinctive bid to put some distance between her and the rest of the field. Well, she's got some world-class competitors behind her, but she's obviously decided she doesn't want to let it go down to a big sprint in the last 400 or 500 meters. It's a very early bid to go off the front here. Watching her feet as she negotiates yet another tricky turn. So, it's a move of confidence, and it would indicate that she believes she's got an awful lot left in the tank. And although it's hard to tell from that angle, it looks as though she might just be putting a little bit more distance between herself and the chasers. Viola Kibiwott is among those chasing athletes. So too Emily Chebet, who won the title here 3 years ago. Algira is in that chasing group, the other Ethiopian. There's Ishete, 11th in the World Cross Country Championships, representing Bahrain. She was also 6th in Daegu over the 10,000, so she's got real quality. Hiwot Aleyu then has decided this is how she's going to run the race. She's going to do it the hard way, hitting the front with well over a lap to go here. And it will be fascinating to see whether she's able to put more distance between herself and the rest of the field as she negotiates the hill for the 3rd time. Short strides. Chebet rounds in 2nd place. Muriuki's also in there. Ishete on the right-hand side, wearing the red and the white of Bahrain. Has Aleyu gone too early? Or will this give her the confidence to believe that she can extend her lead on this 4th and final lap? She's done well on the downhill section, just as we saw in the junior women's race, using that steep downhill gradient to good effect. So Hiwot Aleyu leading this senior women's World Cross Country Championship race at the moment, hoping to join some of her amazing compatriots as winners of this race. Duratu Tulu, Tiranish Dibaba, Gete Wami, they've all been victorious on difficult courses around the world, but with the temperature and the snow, this would surely rank as one of the all-time great Ethiopian victories. Algira's still in there for Ethiopia, so too Emily Chebet. There are 6 athletes in the mix for silver and bronze, but at the moment, none of them are making an inroad into Hiwot Aleyu's leading margin as she looks to continue putting more and more daylight between herself and the rest of the field. Ishete for Bahrain is just struggling off the back of that group of athletes at the moment. Emily Chebet is in 2nd place, Algira in 3rd.
years ago.
So Hiwot Aleu still leading, but look at Emily Chebet. I could be mistaken, but there's a little bit of a spring in her step as she went round that corner. Bydgoszcz Algira is in third place, but Emily Chebet has got Hiwot Aleu in her sights. That could be a misleading angle, but one thing's for certain, Chebet has not given up on this. Now, are we in line for a very dramatic finish to this senior women's race? There is no doubt that Emily Chebet has not given up on her prospects of a second world cross-country title. Hiwot Aleu, 11th 2 years ago, a magnificent 5th in the steeplechase. Kenya leading the team competition by far, from Ethiopia with Bahrain in 3rd, the United States going well in 4th, and Ireland in 5th. But Hiwot Aleu really needs to dig deep here. She's been brave, she's been bold, but is Emily Chebet within striking distance to try and go for gold number 2? Bydgoszcz Algira is in 3rd place at the moment. So we have Ethiopia in gold and bronze medal winning positions at the moment, as Shete is trying to close in on the Ethiopian for that 3rd medal. There's the gap. Aleu just turning to the right-hand side. Chebet is somewhat 5 or 6 seconds adrift. It's a sizable lead, but is it enough? Remember, she still has to negotiate the steep uphill section of the course, but if she can use the run off the hill to good effect, that could be the difference between 1st and 2nd. She tried to make her name in the world of 5,000 metre running, and it didn't quite work out. Her coach suggested she shift to the steeplechase, and initially she rejected that notion. But once she was persuaded to give it a go, she found a new lease of life and enthusiasm for athletics, and how this would give her an extra spring in her step as she goes forward for the track season, heading towards what she hopes would be an improvement from 5th in the Olympics to getting on the podium in Moscow at the World Championships. Still in the lead, Chebet, the champion here 3 years ago, in 2nd place. Algira is going to have to work hard to hold off Shete, who's managed to rally somewhat, closing in on what would be a good bronze medal for her. Still, that margin is not yet quite absolutely definitive. Shete, in fact, has gone past Algira, or just on her shoulder, so it's very, very close for bronze. These are the defining moments for this senior women's world cross-country title. Hiwot Aleu took the lead more than a lap ago as she negotiates this really steep incline for the last time of asking, digging deep, pumping those arms, but Emily Chebet is not too far behind her. Can Aleu open her legs on the downhill section and put some daylight between her and the athlete who's going for title number 2? If Chebet can find something here in the last 300 or 400 metres, it could be very close indeed. Aleu still in the lead, still has an advantage of some 10 or 12 metres. Can Chebet find something to close the gap? It's been a really, really brave bid for gold here from Hiwot Aleu. She's a fast improving athlete, but Emily Chebet knows that she has what it takes to win here. An anxious glance over the shoulder. Chebet's still there. She's closing the gap. Can the Kenyan come past her? It's a brilliantly spirited, well-timed performance, and Emily Chebet has broken the spirit of the Ethiopian who went too early. Chebet, for the 2nd time, tastes gold here in Bydgoszcz. She's had her difficult days in the interim 3 years, but that was a brilliantly timed victory. A brave silver for Hiwot Aleyu, and Bilenesh Ojari holds on for bronze from the fast finishing Eshete. Silver and bronze to the Ethiopians, but another gold for Kenya, and what a well-timed drive to the line from Emily Chebet. Hagos Gebrehiwit. Well, we knew all about the fast times he could produce. World junior record holder last year over 5,000 metres, and indoors this year already over 3,000 metres. But records are one thing, titles quite another, and he has joined a rich list of junior champions here, and maybe he can go on to emulate great senior success on the country and on the track. And with pride now, he hears the national anthem of Ethiopia. This is the last event of this 2013 Bydgoszcz World Cross Country Championships. The senior men's title at stake. The snow is continuing to fall. It's getting colder. It's getting ever more tense. 6 laps, 12K. Will the Ethiopians manage to retain this title, or will the Kenyans steal it back? Still a big crowd gathered here in Poland.
On your marks.
No recall this time. They are safely underway. They're going really, really hard there to try and make sure that they don't get badly positioned as the course narrows and goes onto some, quite frankly, slippy sections. As we've seen in the other 3 races, just quite a few athletes drifting out wide to the right, making sure that they don't put a foot wrong and end up falling over. So a very quick start. 3 Algerians up at the front there. So Amane Merga, the defending champion. But is this a course that would suit his style? Punta Umbria undoubtedly was, but this is a very different prospect and not necessarily a course which favours the out-and-out track specialists and those with very smooth styles. Merga. Well, it would be marvellous if he could defend this title. He'd be the first since Kenenisa Bekele in 2006. And look at how the field splits when they go down that steep descent. It's a real moment to open up the legs and put some distance between yourself and the rest of the field. And that's what the East Africans have been doing brilliantly all afternoon across all 4 of the races. junior men, junior women, and senior women as well. But coming up to halfway here, are we seeing a little bit of a breakaway group here? Murga tracking Meadin. There's still 7 or 8 other athletes in contention, trying to close down on that lead quintet. Collis Birmingham's doing everything he can to keep himself in contention. And it's getting quicker as they've negotiated each of the last 3 laps. The first lap was 5:38, second lap 5:31, and that was 5:20, which would explain why the big group has been somewhat whittled down. Great performance by the Ugandans. They've got Toroitich and Kipsero up among the top 5. Kipsero, who, as we said earlier, has managed to win himself a World Cross medal twice before. Birmingham for Australia is still managing to stay on terms with that group at the moment. So a group of 6 with another 6 or 7 athletes desperately trying to stay on terms. Toroitich in the background there, glances over his shoulder. Moses Kipsero is there. Kifley just trying to close that gap. Really good runs by the Americans as well inside the top 10. I think that's Chris Derrick and Elliot Heath running together. So there we go, very tight indeed. Kenya leading Ethiopia with Eritrea and Uganda, but with Uganda and the United States both having 2 athletes in the top 10, it makes things very interesting. Korea leads then. Birmingham now, look at this from the Australian, up into 2nd place. Well, this would be a brilliant performance by the Aussie if he could get himself an individual medal here. We're on to the 4th lap. We're over halfway here. And what drama lies in store for the rest of this epic race. So, Amane Murga is there, the defending champion. We have 2 Ugandans in the mix, Toroitich, Kipsero. We've got a very fresh-looking Eritrean, Teklemari Meadin. His compatriot Zerzane Tedesse had a very dramatic victory over Kenenisa Bekele in 2007 in the baking hot conditions of Mombasa. Couldn't get more opposite today though. 2-3-6, you just saw Chris Derrick hanging on to the back of that group with his compatriot Elliot Heath trying to stay on terms as well. So, Korea leading. Meadin in 2nd place. Murga's still there. Bronze medalist at the World Championships in 2011. He was desperately disappointed to miss out on the Olympic Games in London last year. Said he did not enjoy watching it on TV. They will only face this hill 2 more times after this. I'm sure it's not the most pleasant sensation, but it certainly resulted in some breaks in the other races that we've seen here today. So Collis Birmingham at the back of that group of 6. Got to try and hang on. He's doing really well, the Australian. Long stride. So, almost completed 4 laps here. We have 2 Kenyans, an Eritrean, an Ethiopian, 2 Ugandans and an Australian, with Kifle, one of the other Eritreans, trying to close down, and Ben True having a really good run for the Americans. 3 US road titles recently, so he's got some pedigree on the roads. 5:23, it was another quick lap, not quite as quick as the previous, but a very good effort by this lead group of men, trying to put some distance between themselves and the rest of the field. So, well, this is developing into a fascinating race, and how refreshing. Of course, the Ethiopians and the Kenyans bring great joy and great panache to the world of cross-country, but it is so good to see the rest of the nations not afraid to get involved. And Ben True of the United States is desperately trying to close down that gap. He's not too far behind, actually. Neither is Goitom Kifle, who was 17th 2 years ago, the Eritrean. So, who will make the break? Moses Kipsero's had a quiet ride, hasn't he? He's over on the left-hand side of your screen there. A very fast finishing athlete. He's based in Teddington in West London, so he's grown used to the fairly cold weather. It has been parky in the UK over the last few months. I spoke to him a couple of days ago, shared a coach ride from the airport, and in his own very quiet, very modest way, I think he was confident. Meadin then, silver medalist here 3 years ago. Korea, he got the bronze. So 2 medalists from Poland running side by side 3 years later, and both want the gold this time. Kipsero in 3rd place. He too has picked up individual silver and bronze medals at World Cross Country and wants to get himself a gold. Then Imane Marga, the defending champion, trying to replicate the achievements of his countryman Kenenisa Bekele, the last man to successfully defend this crown back in 2006. Then Collis Birmingham, Oceania record holder at 10,000 metres and the half marathon, says he's peaked specifically for this race, and so far he's producing the goods. All of these men will feel they have an opportunity here, and we only have a lap and a half to go. Dead level between Ethiopia and Kenya. It's going to be a dramatic climax to the team competitions here, and now there's a break. They're still skidding and slipping and sliding round that corner. Birmingham and True are now losing a little bit of ground off to the right-hand side. And Merga is also having to dig deep. Is he finally starting to struggle here? A man who's very comfortable on the smooth grass of warm courses, but can he dig deep when it gets dirty and hard? There you can see the course. Although it's getting colder, this is the last race of the day, and it is cutting up somewhat. So Japhet Korea, the bronze medalist from 3 years ago, this time he wants gold. Ran 7:40 for 3,000 metres last year, so he's got speed in his legs. And it's really having an impact. Korea is leading, and the 2 Ugandans in the form of Kipsero and Toroitich are starting to have to really work here. Merger has managed to go with it. He's in third place. Teklemarian Meedin is slipping and sliding as he negotiates that hill, and how draining that must be. Kipsiro's managing to hang on in fourth place for Uganda, but his countryman Timothy Toroitich is definitely getting tired. And the daylight opens up, and 6 become 4, and is it becoming 2 at the front of the field? Japhet Korea leads for Kenya. Teklemarian Meedin is in second place. The defending champion Imane Merger is third, and Kipsiro is fourth. Do we see our medalists from the quartet at the moment leading? Birmingham and True for Australia, and the United States will have their own battle for the minor places, you suspect, as Toroitich falls off the back as well. So, Korea, Meedin, Kipsiro and Merger, the 4 at the front. Well, Teklemarian Meedin, probably the tallest of the 4 athletes still in contention, taking a slightly different line, getting a few yards on Korea, who then claws him back. Merger still in there in third place, and don't rule out Moses Kipsiro. He is a brilliant finisher and goes like lightning if he's got any energy left whatsoever. It's turning out to be a brilliant climax to what's been a great day here in Poland. The snow has stopped, the sun has come out, so we will finish basking in sunshine, even though the temperature is very cold. It's arguably dropping below freezing now, so the sunshine is deceptive. But who is going to have the gas at the finish here? 1 Eritrean, 1 Kenyan, 1 Ethiopian and 1 Ugandan. Kipsiro finding it hard now. He's trying to hang on to the green vest of Imane Merger, who is also battling his own internal demons. He doesn't quite look as comfortable here as he did on the flat sun-baked grass of Punta Umbria when he took the title 2 years ago, but he's still in there and he still has a chance of successfully defending his title. Well, 2 of the 3 men at the front here have experienced the podium at the World Championships before in cross-country, but never the gold. Bronze for Korea here 3 years ago. Silver for Meedin here 3 years ago. Merger is the one who knows what it takes to have the gold medal, but will it be wrestled from his grasp here by the Kenyan or the Eritrean running in front of him? Kipsiro is definitely tired in 4th place as Merger now goes past Teklemarian Meedin. In fact, Meedin looked as though he was pulling up there. He's a tall man and he's finding the twisting and turning a little bit uncomfortable. Merger's through into 2nd place, Meedin in 3rd, but Japhet Korea is in front at the moment, driving his way on to what he hopes would be a glorious end to the day here for Kenya. Ethiopia are leading the team competition at the moment. Well, this would be a fantastic victory for Japhet Korea. He would join the likes of Paul Tergat, John Ngugi, legendary names from the world of Kenyan cross-country running. So Japhet Korea driving on. He knows that that massive hill is coming, but he also knows there's only one more ascent to make. And once he gets on that downhill section and opens his legs, he could close in on a glorious gold medal here in the sunshine of Poland. A little look over his shoulder and the margin looks as though it may be growing. He doesn't look as though he's tiring yet. This is a great performance so far. And we did see a long-term leader in one of the women's races get clawed back in the last 200 metres, but this looks as though it could well be a gold medal winning ascent of the hill. Merger's having a torrid time trying to shake off Teklemari Midin. The Ethiopian and the Eritrean seem as though they're in their own battle for silver and bronze. Merger's got some daylight between himself and the Eritrean, but that's the size of the gap between first and second, and Japhet Korea, unless he falls over, is in line here to become the world cross-country champion. He's timed his drive to perfection, and this could be the greatest moment of his career so far. It was bronze here 3 years ago, but unless Merger can find something in the last 200 metres, it's going to be gold this time for Japhet Korea. This is undoubtedly a step up in class for the young Kenyan. Another glance over his shoulder, but he is clear. The arms are up. He's still accelerating. Japhet Korea is the world cross-country champion with a brilliantly timed run. Amane Merger, a great attempt to defend his title, but it's silver this time. And Teklemari Midin completes the podium. He got a silver 3 years ago here in Bydgoszcz, and this time it's bronze. A great race, but that 1, 2, 3 is Kenya, Ethiopia, Eritrea. Good performances from Ben True and Collis Birmingham to keep it going. But it's Japhet Korea who is the senior men's champion. 12K, 6 loops, and he was the one who found the magic in the last 2K. Karui, world junior champion last year, driving towards the line. Yet another one of the Americans coming home. They've had a brilliant team effort, they really have. They might even get close to challenging for a team medal here. For the second time here in Bydgoszcz, Emily Chibet takes the gold medal. She joins a rare list of women as double world cross-country champions, and her drive for the line was arguably one of the pieces of tactical genius at today's World Championship. She's had her tough times since that gold here 3 years ago, but she has climbed the metaphorical mountain once again, and how sweet this anthem will sound. And how sweet his national anthem will now sound as the sun comes out here in Poland at the end of a marvellous day. The applause for Jafet Korir. He is the world champion. Amane Merga, a silver to go alongside his gold. And Teklemarian Medim adds a bronze to his silver from 3 years ago. A marvellous individual race to round off a beautiful day here in the sunshine and the snow of Bydgoszcz.